This is you. Well, this is me, but this is you because you didn't take the time to do anything beforehand that would ensure that this is done correctly the first time. So let's do this again, but this time let's take the extra time to ensure that this gets done correctly. You see, that right there is how you ensure that what you're doing is done correctly the first time you do it. I'm sure we've all gone and tried to hang something up before and ended up making 9 holes because we couldn't get it level on the first 8 tries. It sucks, and quite frankly, it ruins your wall. Now, even though the example I showed had to do with hanging up decor in your home, the same rule applies to everything else you might do, especially filmmaking. Have you ever had a really good idea and decided that you should just get up and film it? You get all the shots you need and then found the perfect music to go alongside of it, only to find that when you get to the actual editing portion of the video, that nothing is exactly how you envisioned it. The simple reason for that is because you did no pre-production before you went out and started filming. Now, understandably, this is one of the more boring parts of filmmaking, but it's also one of the most crucial. And I get why so many people overlook it. I mean, like I did, until I decided to start taking filmmaking much more seriously. Ensuring that you have a solid plan before you go out and shoot is just as crucial as every other aspect of filmmaking. It gives you an exact plan on how to enact that idea. So, today I will be giving you some resources that I personally use every single time I come up with an idea, whether it's for YouTube or full-on production that you're being paid for. Sorry, I have the windows open. It's a beautiful day. We've had beautiful weather here in Texas, so you might hear some background noise. Now, this is not a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. None of the tools that I'm going to show you have endorsed me or try to get me to sell you on this. I genuinely use these products because it makes me a better filmmaker, and I hope that they will do the same for you. Whenever I get an idea that I want to actually turn into a video, the first thing I do is I open up GoodNotes. I have the app on my iPad and I just start to word vomit onto the page. Now, please keep in mind, GoodNotes is not the thing that you have to use. You're very welcome to use just the regular notes app on your phone, pen and paper if you like to use your computer. The idea here is that you're just word vomiting onto the page to try to help you form a more cohesive idea. I will literally write down anything that helps me form a clearer picture in my head. Like here, you can see I started to write down certain words or colors or stylistic approaches to how the video should look. Doing this helps me in a couple of ways. First, it just kind of helps me remember the random thoughts that are coming to me. And second, this just helps me form a clearer image in my mind of what I want this to look like visually. It gives me a much better starting point for the rest of the steps that I like to do afterwards. Once I feel like I've come to a good place where the idea has taken shape and I know exactly where I want this video to go, I'll move on to another app that helps me structure this way better. And that app is called Milanote. Now, I'm a firm believer in trying every option that there is available. I wanted to say that because I've used Milanote for a few years now, but I've also tried other methods like the Kanban method, and I've also used Notion. Personally, I'm a very fluid thinker and I like to interact with my ideas, so a lot of the other products, while being great for what they are, don't offer that tactile feel that I like to have with my creativity. And I've just learned that Milanote is best suited for me in the way that I like to do that, so I've kind of just stuck with it. Here's an example of a Milanote board that I made for a YouTube project, and here's another one for an actual production that I'm working on. You'll notice that the YouTube one is much less fleshed out than the production one, and that's more or less on purpose. I find that the more I focus on pre-production, the less inclined I am to actually get up and start filming. I'll start to hyperfixate on trying to get this pre-production thing perfect, rather than just leaving it the way it is, mostly finished, and getting up and going out to film. You know, there's a book called Save the Cat, and it's written by Blake Snyder. And while it's about screenwriting, there are a couple of useful tips that I was able to take away and apply to filmmaking. In it, he talks about the process of pre-production and how you should stop at about 80%, because by then, you have a pretty clear image in your head of what you want the story to be, and you've pretty much accomplished the whole pre-production process by getting it mostly on paper, or whatever you're using. And I like to apply that same method here for filmmaking. I'll usually end up stopping once I've mostly figured out what the story is, and definitely when I've finished the storyboard. I generally like to use the pre-made Milanote boards. They've worked really well for me in the past, and they continue to work very well for me. I will say I recently found someone who made their own custom board that you can download and try for free, so I'll leave a link to that down below if you want to try that out. I haven't personally tried it yet, but I do plan to use it on a few other projects that I have coming up just to test it out and see if it's something I like. So, once I've made the board and I've filled out the details of the film, including the logline, it's very important, I will then move on to storyboarding. And this leads me to the newest addition to the pre-production process for me, which is Shot Deck. For a while, I thought Shot Deck was kind of a gimmick, but after doing their free trial and testing it out, I realized that this tool is exactly what I've been looking for since I started doing this whole thing. Because before, I used to just draw out my storyboards, but I am no artist, and obviously that left a ton to be desired. The beauty of using something like Shot Deck is that you already get a preview of what your shot is going to look like. They tell you what it was shot on, what lenses they use, what movie it was from, and in some cases, even let you get a little snippet of the scene from whatever it is. I found that it's usually music videos, but I imagine they're gonna move to movies as well. Overall, this has been immensely helpful, as it gives me an extremely good starting point on how I want to set up my shot, and it allows someone else who may be working with me on the project to see exactly what I had in mind. Using Shot Deck has really leveled up my lighting and also helped me to replicate professional level work for not only YouTube, but for a lot of my production stuff as well. It has a pretty extensive way to narrow down what you're looking for, and once you find the frame you need, you can click to save it into a folder on Shot Deck, or you can download it to put it onto your board. Personally, when I found the image that I like, I'll go ahead and click it, and it opens up a box that gives you a lot of details about the shot. And then if you click on the image again, it'll open into a new tab, and I just right click on the photo in that tab, copy the picture, and then paste it into Milanote. This kind of helps me in a few ways. It just doesn't take up space on my hard drive, and I don't have a bunch of random screen grabs for no reason. And I'll continue to do this for every single scene that I have planned for the project. What I've come to learn is that this process helps to eliminate any questions you have regarding coverage and what the shot will look like. Then, on the day of the shoot, you can kind of change things and maneuver as needed, feeling confident that you already have all the shots that you needed to get. Usually, especially if it's for YouTube, if I have the storyboard built out, is about the time that I stop actually doing pre-production. For me, by the time I finish the storyboard, I already have a pretty clear picture in mind of what I want the thing to look like and how I want it to go, and there's really no need for me to press further and kind of get into the nitty-gritty details of it, because then I fall into the trap of never getting up to actually going to film it. So yeah, for me, that's just kind of where that works. By developing a process for myself in pre-production, it has helped me be more professional, more efficient, and more creative. With that said, I would highly, highly encourage you to try to take at least a little bit of time to develop your own pre-production process, whether you want to kind of copy mine, or maybe you have a couple more things that you'd like to throw in or take away. Either way, doing something before you start to film is just going to help you immensely in terms of efficiency and actually getting the shots that you had in your mind. Not only that, but it also shows people that you're working with how dedicated you are to this craft, and it just makes you look more professional. Again, none of this is sponsored, so there are no affiliate links, but I do know other creators do stuff like this quite often, so you might be able to find some out there. I know a lot of the apps, except for GoodNotes, don't quote me on that one, but all of the other apps offer like a free trial for you to test stuff out on, so I highly encourage you to go out and try that. And I will leave you with that. So yeah, I'm actually planning on taking a couple weeks off. I'm gonna be going to the Grand Canyon. And like, obviously it would be very dumb for me to take this big cinema camera with me. So I'm gonna bring another camera, my Fujifilm, but I kind of got to figure out what lenses I'm gonna take, and it's an APS-C, so I kind of got to do some like crafting there. Either way, I do plan on taking something with me to film or take pictures of the trip. So if I don't end up doing anything with it on YouTube, go ahead and follow me on my socials, because I'll be posting it there. All of those links will be down in the description. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you want to, and leave a comment. Maybe you have another method that you like doing, or you have another step that you like to incorporate into it. I'd love to hear it. Any way to make me better, make us all better, is just something I'm super keen on hearing. So go ahead and leave it down below. And I will see you guys later.